Hello everybody. In the last video we looked at factoring some polynomials with the greatest common factor method. But in this video we'll look at the next factoring method that you usually learn about, and we'll be factoring monic trinomials. So let's break down some of this terminology first. To start, we'll say that monic, this means that the leading coefficient is 1. Okay, and the leading coefficient is the coefficient of the highest power of the polynomial. So we'll see that more with an example. And then the next bit of terminology is trinomial. So trinomial is a polynomial with 3 terms. Okay, so let's get started with an example. Suppose that we have x squared plus 3x plus 2. And we want to try to factor this thing if possible. So what we need to do in general is we take the number on the right side here, and here it's 2, and we write it off to the side. And now what we want to do is we want to find the factor pair for 2 that sums to 3. So again, we want to find the factor pair for 2 that would add up to 3. Well, let me show you what I mean in a little more detail. We can factor the number 2 in 2 distinct ways. The first is 1 times 2. The next is -1 times -2. These are the only unique ways to factor 2. So we consider both of them. Consider this pair and this pair. Among the 2 pairs, we're looking for the pair that where each number, or when you add the 2 numbers together, you end up getting 3. Well, we can see here if we add 1 and 2, we get 3. If we add -1 and -2, we get -3. So it's not this one, it's this one. When we add 1 and 2 together, we do get 3. So this is the kind of factor pair we're going to use here, the 1 and the 2. And I'll show you what I mean. We need to take what we had up here, so we'll take x squared plus 3x plus 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to split that 3x into 2 pieces. 3x is really the same thing as 1x plus 2x. And then we also have the plus 2 as well. Alright, now we're going to use the last method that we learned. The last method that we learned for factoring was the greatest common factor method. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to approach this problem by considering this as 2 sets of parentheses, like this. And we'll take the greatest common factor out from each set of parentheses. In particular, with x squared plus 1x, the greatest common factor is just x. And then when we're factoring an x out of x squared, we're left over with just an x. And then x times 1 gives us x. So that there we factored out an x. And here we'll factor out, we have a 2x and a 2, so here we'll factor out a 2. And then on the inside we'd have x plus 1. Notice that these match. That's not a coincidence. In fact, now because these match, we can actually factor out an x plus 1. We can factor this out of both of these terms. And upon doing that, if we factor out an x plus 1, what's left over is we have an x here, so that comes in there. And then all that's left over here is a plus 2. Therefore, x squared plus 3x plus 2 factors as x plus 1 times quantity x plus 2.